Mr. and Mrs. Obi were celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary. Life had been anything but easy for them, but they had a lot to be grateful for. First, they were happy to have each other, and as they looked at their crowded but spacious living room, they were proud to see their children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren all present to celebrate with them. Grandma, Grandpa, their youngest 5-year-old twin granddaughters called out, running up to them. Tell us your love story. One day, we would love to find love just like yours, the kids said with expectant looks. Grandma Obi chuckled. I am sure you would. Grandpa loves to tell this story, but he has dementia now and can't remember much, so I'll tell you. Before long, the entire family gathered around, got comfortable in their seats for Grandma's story. I was born 75 years ago when people thought that I was a strange creature due to my skin and eyes. My mother had been trying to get pregnant for years, but couldn't. When she had me, she was worried about how I looked, but she chose to keep me. She tried to hide me, but she could not do so for long. When the chief learned about me, he sent his guards to get me. My mom saw them from afar and escaped. Everywhere she went, our lives seemed in danger because of me. So she decided to move to the city with me. It was better there. People seemed to mind their business more. I lived in a small town with her called Ntui, and she worked in a tea plantation to provide for us. I attended primary school there. I was bullied a lot, but my mother said it didn't matter as long as I was alive. We were so happy. We had a lot of fun together. After my primary school education, I became a seamstress, met your grandfather, and the rest is history. Come on, Grandma. That can't be the full story. You are skipping the best part, retorted one of the grandchildren. Okay, okay, replied Grandma Obi. Let's continue. So, after primary school, I started learning a trade, how to sew. I worked so hard on it, and in under 10 years, I converted my mother's living room into my shop. No one agreed to rent me a place because they didn't want to be associated with me. I became really good at my craft that people couldn't help but seek my services, although privately. Sometime later, I was contacted by a third party to sew a very sophisticated garment for the son of a very influential man in a neighboring city. This influential man admired my work but didn't deem me worthy of speaking to him directly, so he used a representative. All that didn't matter to me. I was going to get paid handsomely for this dress. I was given the young man's measurements and I worked tirelessly to bring the attire to life. On the set day of pickup, the cloth was ready, but nobody came for it, so I waited. 2 days later, I heard a knock on my door, and when I opened, there stood a handsome, chocolate skinned young man with the neatest haircut I had seen in my life. He had short hair with clean waves that looked like they had been measured and drawn with perfection. I stood there surprised, staring into the face of this stranger. Greetings, young lady, he said. but I stayed put. Greetings, young lady, he said again, this time with a hint of annoyance laced in his tone. Oh, good greetings, sir, I responded. Then I thought to myself, why am I calling him sir when he appears to be barely 3 years older than I am? What did it matter? A voice in my head snapped back. You are in no place to make comparisons. Come in, sir, I said. Once he was in my shop/slash living room, a quick scan of his shoulders and muscular arms hinted me to why he was here. He interrupted my thoughts as he said, I have come for my dress fitting. I quickly grabbed the dress and let him try it on. Once the dress was on him, his face softened. Did you make this dress? He asked. What do you mean, sir? I snapped back. Don't you see a sewing machine here? No offense. I'm just impressed, he replied. My name is Sam, and I am an artist. I was directed here to collect my dress because my father's assistant is ill. After my experience with many designers, I wasn't expecting my dress to be done, let alone be this good. In fact, I am hosting a party at my place today and would like to invite you. I would love to showcase my designer. Here is an invite with the location. And just like that, he left. My mom, who had been listening from the room, came out, collected the invite, and said, you know you can't go there, right? I was a bit disappointed, but she was right. After 2 days, the stranger returned, this time with more fabric for sewing. He dropped them off and asked for my name. My name is Adanna, I replied. So, Adanna, he continued, why didn't you show up at the party? I responded, with all due respect, sir, I do not wish to be mocked or end up in trouble. Don't you see how I look? How do you expect me to attend a big man's event looking like this? All I can see are curves, beautiful skin, and a beautiful face, he replied. I had never received a compliment before. Although I was flattered by his words and glances, I pushed past my shyness to say, what is beautiful about people like me? Are you after my head? After your head, he laughed. Adana, don't tell me you don't know. Know what? I asked. Gone are the days when people were stigmatized and even killed because they looked different. How long have you been in hiding? He asked. I was surprised at that information. Could it be true? My mother's fear of losing me had prevented me from leaving home. She did all the shopping, and I stayed home most of the time, although I was in my mid 20s. Sam asked me out on a date, and against my mother's wishes, I went, just to see how the world beyond my comfort zone would treat me. Some people looked displeased, but a lot more people complimented me. I had developed a newfound confidence. Maybe life outside my cage wasn't so bad after all. After dating for a while, Sam took me to meet his family, but I was greeted with so much hostility. His father wanted nothing to do with me. His mom was nicer but had to take her husband's side. The rest of his siblings were bad news. Once again, I had been put down for my looks, something that was hardly my fault. Sam tried to speak with his family, but they remained adamant. Young man, I sent you to Germany to become an accountant, but you chose to be an artist instead. While I am yet to come into terms with your decision, you plunge into another rebellion? His father said angrily. Dad, please try to understand, Sam pleaded. Young man, I do not want to hear anything. If you leave here with this woman, do not return, he concluded. Just like that, Sam left his family, even after I pleaded with him not to do so. Against my mom's better judgment, I accepted Sam's proposal and we traveled to another city to sign our marriage certificate. With our savings, we opened up a huge shop where we displayed art and I sold. Our talent was unmatched, and in time, we began to rake in clients. Years went by, and Sam's family contacted us to apologize. They said they were proud of our achievements. My mom had always been right, but this one time she wasn't, and I am grateful I could stand my ground. She later moved in with us and helped us raise our beautiful kids, your parents. Yay! The little one said, Grandma, your story is beautiful. Grandma Obi smiled back. Who are you? Grandpa Obi asked, looking at his wife. Grandma Obi turned to him and smiled. Before she could answer, he added, I don't know you, but I like you. Will you be my girlfriend? Grandma smiled heartily and said, How about I become your wife? Grandpa Obi responded, I was too shy to ask, but I would love that. So, when is the wedding? All their kids burst out laughing. With a cup full of hope and a bowl of courage, Adana braved the odds and found her happily ever after. I'm sure you all will too. Hope you enjoyed this story. Watch the next one on this channel.